Hey guys, just finished watching Legend of Tomorrow, Season 4, Episode 1, The Virgin Gary. What an interesting episode this one was. I think it's really cool setting up this season, going into it just kind of being more magical season with Constantine, having that logo at the beginning with Constantine logo merged with the Legend of Tomorrow logo, and I think it's really going to be cool to see as to building up to him becoming part of the team. And I think that's kind of seems to be a bit of the theme with this, especially with the whole magic theme to this season and stuff, and having him kind of throughout this episode, we have got a lot of Sarah kind of asking him, you need to join the team. That's the thing that you need to do. And I think that's really going to be cool to see as to kind of where his relationship kind of continues on with the team and stuff. I think it's really fun seeing as to where things kind of go with all that. So all in all, it's really cool seeing where it's kind of things are going to go with John Constantine and how his connection and stuff. And it was really cool seeing different things there with kind of with the unicorn. I think that was kind of fun seeing that. I mean, the unicorn was quite interesting. The special effects were kind of pretty cool on that. We're not too it wasn't too out there. I think the special effects on this unicorn were a lot better than the special effects on Mollusk in the last season, because Mollusk in the last season looked very fake. Even Bebo at the end when they had to turn into him, that kind of looked a little cheesy. But here so far, the special effects are a little bit better this season comparing to last year. And I love the whole references that Ray keeps on doing throughout the whole episode, just kind of talking about their ratings type thing, and it's their ratings with the Time Bureau type thing, and I think that's really fun with their ratings, because we all know that they're one of the lowest rated shows. I'm not sure if it's the lowest rated show on CW, but it's really low down there, especially the lowest rated show of the Arrowverse, compared to Supergirl, Flash, and Legend of Tomorrow. I think it's really down there, so I think it's really going to be cool to just see as to where things kind of go with this show and how long it kind of lasts. And I wonder if that's kind of, maybe it's like, could this be their last season type thing? Is that why they're saying that so early on in this season? So I think it's really going to be cool to see as to where things kind of go with all that for this show. So I think I'm really excited to see where things go with this, and I think having a bit of maybe some connections to some sort of connections to the Constantine show could be quite interesting. I think it could be quite fun to see as to where things go with that, because there's only like a couple of episodes for that show. There's only like 13 episodes, so I think it could be cool to see where things kind of go with that. And I like the idea of, we meeting Nate Haywood, we meet Henry and Dorothy Haywood, and I think that's really cool seeing that. We see Thompson Wilson joining here from Back to the Future, so I think that was really cool seeing that. It's really going to be cool to see as to kind of where things go in this, and it was cool seeing all the different people in here. We got to see the Beatles at the beginning of this episode, so I think that was really cool. It makes you want to kind of look into it just to see how they kind of got the rights to use the Beatles, but I imagine because I'd be curious to know, does Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr get a piece of this? Do the Beatles get a piece of, because their likeness is used in here, there's straight up footage of them in here, so I think that'd be cool to find out, to see how that goes. Or if they're just kind of using old news footage from back in the day, then it's like, is that public domain type thing? I think it could be interesting to look into that. But yeah, so I think it's going to be cool to see as to where things go with this, especially the relationship between Ava Sharp and Sarah. I think their relationship is going to be cool to see as to how that kind of evolves and stuff, especially also with Constantine tied into the mix of it all. I think it could be cool to see as to where things that go with that. And I think they have a good relationship, and I think the way they've written Sarah a bit in this episode alone is kind of very different than last season. She's a lot more open, a lot more joyful, rather than kind of dark Sarah type thing, which I kind of like. We've had a lot of seasons of dark Sarah and stuff, so I think it's really cool to have kind of a different tone to Sarah type thing for this season. So I think it's really going to be cool to see as to kind of where things kind of go with all that. And I think it's going to be interesting to see as to kind of how things kind of finish up from there. So all in all, I'm really excited to see as to where things go with this, to see what type of magic things keep happening with this. The one thing with the show is they need to get a little bit away from the whole villain of the week thing, that it feels like very villain of the week. But I think as long as we get into, like they've set up in this thing, magic is the story this season, is the theme this season. Okay, now in the next episode they need to get into what's the main story, like what is the goal, what are they doing? They're just attacking these magic things with there's no real kind of reason to it. There's just no kind of sense to it. There's no overall season storyline other than just stopping all the magic. There's no big magic. There's no mollusk. There's no one kind of at the end there. So I think that it's really going to be cool to see kind of where things kind of go in that, and how far do we go. And I think it'd be quite cool to see how far do we go in the different stuff. And I like how they're playing with stuff in a different way, at least with the unicorn, by having unicorns here, but kind of completely the opposite way. The unicorn was the villain, so I think that could be an interesting idea. Things like that, where they're, you think that that's going to be an innocent unicorn, but then it turns out to be the villain of the season, of the episode type thing. Could be an evil unicorn type thing. So I like kind of that idea, kind of like a dark version of Disney spins on magic type thing. So I think that could be cool to see where all that goes in this season. I'd like to see someone like Dr. Fate in here, since, again, every time I see John Constantine, it reminds me that in John Constantine, his show, in the first episode, I'm not mistaken, first or second episode, early on, we do see, when we go to his house, we do see the Dr. Fate helmet there, the helmet of Naboo, which, if I'm not mistaken, was actually used on Smallville. We actually had Dr. Fate on there, so it's probably just a reused prop in the background. But that means that Dr. Fate probably exists in this universe, If John Constantine, if you still have Matt Ryan connected there, then that's still there. So I'd love to see, the helmet of Naboo come into here. Now I could see that would be something they probably will save for the end of the season rather than earlier on. But I think it would be cool to have that here. Maybe having him use that could be different. Really interested to see that. Maybe also getting someone like Zatanna in this show could be really cool. I'd love to see Etrigan the Demon. I think he's a really cool character, really cool Jack Kirby character. It would be cool to see him joining here. So I think there's all kinds of stuff that really would be fun to bring in with all this magic stuff, and I think it could be quite cool. It's also a Swamp Thing, if I'm not mistaken. We saw there's a shrunken head of Swamp Thing in the Constantine TV show, so those were kind of background props that means that those characters exist in this universe, since now he's connecting it all over. So really I'm excited to see as to where things kind of go from here. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below, about season 4 episode 1, The Virgin Gary, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.